Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how to build your very own crypto bot. This bot can generate passive income by taking advantage of arbitrage opportunities and slippage in decentralized exchanges like Uniswap on the Ethereum network. I'm planning on making a higher volatility bot and one for Solana later, but that will be for another video. The bot will on average generate between 2 to 5% profit per day. So for instance, if you put $1,000 into this bot, it will generate $20 to $30 on average a day. This bot has been programmed with higher safety standards, so it only takes very profitable trades. It generates less money than other aggressive bots, but you won't have as high a risk of losing your money. This is a strategy I personally like to use, as I can insert more money and have a safe daily income without having these high risks. Some individual trades might not always be profitable since low investment is risk-free, but over time, this bot uses live trading and math to guarantee a profit. In this video, I'll go over the content of the bot, how to build the bot without any coding experience, and how to run the bot, and of course, show you how much this bot actually makes. First, let's talk about arbitrage. Okay, so imagine this. Crypto prices aren't always exactly the same on every exchange. Bitcoin might cost $67,950 on Binance, and it might cost $68,100 on Coinbase at the very exact same moment. An arbitrage bot makes money by buying cheap on one exchange and then instantly selling it for more money on another. Basically a risk-free investment if it's done fast enough. The bot decides which trades are actually profitable after including fees, slippage, and transfer time, and executes them automatically. This is what makes the bot different from trying to trade yourself, because usually you can make a calculation quick enough before the price changes. So basically, it's like having a super fast trainer that never sleeps, making tiny profits hundreds or thousands of times a day. The trick is having low fees, high speed, and then a decent sized capital, which is all this code that I need for the bot. All right, to get started, you'll need MetaMask installed in your browser. If you don't already have this, then the best way to do this is just to use the Google extension, which you can find in the Google Web Store or in Chrome Web Shop. Also, make sure you're logged into the right account. We're going to be using ChainID to deploy and run our bot. ChainID is a Web3 application where you can create and run smart contracts on the Ethereum network. First, head over to the website and then simply just press Code Smarter. Here you can either sign in if you already have an account or just continue as guest. I'm going to continue as a guest. As you can see, I already have a project here. This is because I made sure the code was running probably before because of this video, but you're going to choose new project. From these templates, just choose blank template. Now, this next step might be the most important of all the skills. We have to set up the project structured correctly to make sure the bot is going to run as intended. As you can see here, this is our project name. This you can name whatever you want. I'm going to name it Project 1. Inside Project 1, you are going to need to create some folders and some files. This is very important. You name it just as I do. I've set them up in the same exact order. ChainID is also case sensitive, so keep this in mind. First folder you're going to create can just be named contracts. Within this folder, create yet another folder. Call this one Uniswap. Inside Uniswap, yet again, create another folder and call this one interfaces. Inside interfaces, create another folder. This one should be called libraries. Notice that these last two folders are lowercase, whereas Uniswap has an uppercase U. This is important later on, so just make sure that this is correct. Then head over to contracts, right-click it, and press new file. This is where our main code is going to be. Blame this bot got sold. As you can see, if we get this emblem of Ethereum, you have set this up correctly. Make sure that you look at this and take your time to read it all and create exactly this setup you have. Okay, now I'm going to walk you through the code itself. We have two types of code. First, the main code for the bot itself, and then all the code from Uniswap. Open up the link in the description from Pastify. This is the code for the bot itself. Go ahead and copy this and put it into a file bot.so. Make sure to get this last bracket. Once pasted in, you should have 561 lines of code. As you can see at the top of the code here, we import some files from Uniswap. This would normally just go online and look up the files, but since ChainID does not have a token for GitHub, we have to put this code into our project locally. I've also put links for this down in the description. Make sure you open up the one called uniswap v3 factory.sol, the one called v3 pool.sol, and the one called liquiditymath.sol. This is all going to be used for calculations. I've also put this page into the description down below where we're going to need to pull some more code in. This might get a bit complicated, so just watch this as many times as you need to make sure it's all pasted in correctly. First, head over to uniswap v3 factory.sol. Copy the last bit here. Go into your project, under Interfaces, right-click, New File, and paste the name. In this file here, you have to put this code here. And the same goes for Uniswap v3 pool.sol and the liquidity math. I recommend just creating the files first. Open up Interfaces, New File, paste in the name. And the same goes for liquidity math. Open Interfaces, New Files, and paste it in. Once you have these in, go ahead and copy the code from the corresponding file. So here we have v3 factory.sol. Copy everything and paste it into the one called factory. Go into v3 pool.sol. Copy everything here. This is a shortcut because it imports some other code. And paste it in. Now go over to liquidity math and copy this last bit of code and paste it in. As you can see in v3 pool.sol, we actually import some more stuff. We have to change this code though, because if you take a look at our main code, our imports look like this. This is how you code a local import. The / means look inside this folder, whereas / means look for this folder or this file. So as we can see, this import calls for look inside contracts, look for Uniswap, look for interfaces, and then finally look for these 3 files. This is all good and correct. But inside pools, you can see this is different. And it calls for these 6 different files, which we don't have. If you open up this page here, which is down in the link below, you can see we have all of these. I recommend not using split screen because this makes it much easier to look around in. Open up these different files and do the exact same as you did before. So open up poolactions.sol, copy this code or this name. And then instead of interfaces, we're going to paste this into library. Right-click it, New File, and enter. Open up the same here, and if you have it full screen, you should see it down here on the side. Open up pool derived state. Go ahead and copy the name and enter it into libraries. Repeat this process for the last 4 files. This might take some time, but it is very important to make sure this is all set up correctly. I'll show you how to test this after. And pool owner action also. Go ahead and copy the name. Right-click libraries and file. Paste it in, and also here pool state, copy the name, and new file, paste it in. Now we should have 3 files here and 6 files here and a main code here. The way to check that this is all set up correctly is by closing the folders. If you close the folder libraries and the 6 files here disappear, then this is all correctly set up. If you go ahead and click on interfaces, these 3 should disappear. If you put it in some of the wrong files, you can just hold it and drag it wherever you want it to be. This is all set up correctly, so I won't change it all. This should be named in alphabetical order, so you can just go ahead and copy the code in. Make sure that it is the right code, though. So here we have pool actions.sol. Copy everything here. And pool actions here. Go ahead and find derived state. Copy all of this code and paste it into derived state. As you can see, the names on the files here match the name on the GitHub Uniswap code. But also make sure to just check this, because you have to make sure it's set up correctly. It should automatically put this in order, but just make sure it's ready, or you might have some trouble later on. Go ahead and copy this and paste it into pool here. Now pool owner action, copy this code again, paste it in. This might be a bit repetitive, but we need to have it locally because we don't have this access token. And now lastly, pool state, copy this and paste it in. Now, once this is done, your project is ready. As you can see, we have all of these files here in libraries, all of our code here in interfaces, and the code for bot in bot.sol. We still have one thing we need to fix though, which is if you head over onto uniswap v3 pool.sol, this file right here, you can see the imports are wrong. We have to change this to this type of code. I like to do it such as this. Delete this, copy this first bit here, and just Control X. Then delete, type /. This means look into this folder, interfaces. What should it look for? It should look for libraries. So we type in libraries and it should look for this name. The reason why these names, I copy them and just instead of just typing them is, again, chain ID is case sensitive. So just go ahead and copy it. It makes it so much easier. Again, delete here, copy the name, delete the last bit, /. Again, type libraries / and paste the file. One thing to notice here is if you go past this and go back, you might accidentally copy the /. When you put this in, it might look like this by accident. Just go ahead and delete one of those. Then do it with this one. And see this, again, you might do these same mistakes as I did. I pasted the name before I added libraries. Of course, you can just do it like this. Again, copy this code, type in /. Libraries, and paste in the code. And if you delete too much, just like I did, you can always just Control-C to get back. Copy this, delete the last bit, and type this in, libraries / and this. Make sure you have this exact setup, and don't delete the semicolon at the end. This should now run properly. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to actually run this bot. Before we can run it, we need to compile the code. Now, you've just been inside here and made sure that all of these import are correctly. Now, before you just go ahead and compile the code, we need to make sure we are in version 0.8.20. So go ahead and choose this. The reason for this is because I coded this bot some time ago, and I've been running this bot for myself quite a while. And of course, there are newer versions, but this is the one to use with my bot. Head it over to the main code, which is here bot.sol. This is our bot. This is the code you need to compile. Now, run this compile bot.sol. You might get this warning here. Just refresh your browser. This can take it some time. And just continue. This should all be saved. Now go ahead and choose version 0.8.20 and compile the bot. This can be a bit buggy. As you can see, I've already run this bot twice since I get these build files here. Don't mind these. You won't have the one in here, but this is because I accidentally compiled the uniswap file, as you can see here. This doesn't really matter. Go ahead into your bot.sol and it should say arbitrage bot. If it says anything else, go ahead and try again to compile it correctly. Make sure you stand in this file bot.sol when you compile it. If you open up the arbitrage bot, you can see we have some code here. This you can just leave as is. Head on over to deploy an interaction. Here you can see our compiled contracts. These are all the files we have here. This is all that we've compiled. Go ahead and choose the bottom arbitrage bot. Now, when we deploy, we need to connect our wallet. So I choose connect. You can either connect to a virtual machine. This is just for testing, or you can use injected Web3 provider. Here you're going to choose injected Web3 provider. Choose MetaMask or whatever crypto wallet you have, and MetaMask is connected. Perfect. Now go ahead and make sure compile contracts that it says arbitrage bot contracts / whatever this is. Press deploy. Should open up your MetaMask. This can take some time, but just let it load. When you do this, you need to connect your MetaMask to the smart contract. This is about $1 network fee, so make sure you have some money already loaded in your account. Press confirm, and again, your transaction was submitted. This might take just a second or two, but wait until this says your transaction was complete. You can see you get a notification down here, and this should change in just a minute. Your transaction is complete. Now you can just close this extension. As you can see down here, you have this interact button. Open it up and we get these 3 buttons you can press. I'm going to walk you through how to actually run the bot. Just make sure that all of this is done correctly and if you set it up correctly. You should open up your MetaMask just to see. Contract deployment, this costs some money. It might cost $5, $6 to actually deploy the contract. Next thing you're going to do is open up this window right here. This is the code itself, the contract itself. I'm going to copy this and open up Etherscan. Paste this in and make sure that the contract is here. As you can see, this has just been created a minute ago. Go ahead back to your chain ID. The next thing we want to do is fund the contract and then run it. This part I'm going to show you how to do next. Okay, now you have created the actual smart contract and connected it through your MetaMask. Next, you're going to fund it. As I said before, you have these 3 buttons over here: withdraw funds, search, and low-layer interaction. Right now, we're going to wait to use these because you have to fund the contract first. As I said earlier, go ahead and copy the address of the contract. As you can see, this is the contract right here. Right now, it has $0 in it. So you're going to need to fund this contract with some money. So go ahead, open up your MetaMask and copy the code from the smart contract, which is right here. Copied. Open MetaMask. And then you have to send it some money. The minimum amount you should use is around $100. Ultimately, you'd go for at least $200 or $300, but it will still work if you only put in 100. If you put in less, your profits might get eaten up by gas fees and slippage. So I'm going to send $100 to this contract. Choose the asset, enter the address of the smart contract, and then the amount. You can either choose ETH or a dollar amount. I'm going to choose dollar amount. Put in 100. Make sure to leave some ETH on your MetaMask. The reason for this is when you first activate the contract, it needs to have some ETH for gas fees on your MetaMask since the contract is not yet active. So I recommend leaving at least $2 a year. As you can see, view activity, we have sent the contract $100 and still have $2.70. Go over to Etherscan where you can see your contract and ETH value. If you go ahead and refresh this, it should now say $100. Okay, now we're actually ready to run the bot itself. We have been over the code, created the smart contract, connected the smart contract to a MetaMask, and funded the contract. If you go to interact, you can see we have these three options. We have withdraw funds, search, and low-level interaction. The values of these you should just leave at 0. This determines how much of our remaining capital from the contract itself is going to be used for these trades. If you just leave it at 0, it should use all of the remaining capital, which is what we want. Withdraw funds is always going to withdraw the funds from the contract back into your MetaMask. If you want to test this first, you can go ahead. You just have to fund the contract again. You can just press submit and it automatically open up the window where you can see the MetaMask. You can go ahead and confirm it here if you want. If we want to search or actually run the contract itself, my bad, you're going to head over to search. Again, leave this value at 0 and press submit. This is going to search the different exchanges and actually begin trading. If I press submit, you should see it opening up the MetaMask window. As I told you earlier, you need to have some amount of money in the contract itself to cover the gas fees for the contract creation. We already created the contract, but the first time you run it, it has to have some amount of Ethereum in your account, your MetaMask account, to cover the gas fees. It's only 60 cents, as you can see here, but I would recommend leaving up to $5 for this. Go ahead and press confirm. You see your transaction was submitted. As soon as this goes to your transaction is complete, as it did right there, the contract is now active. Go ahead and close the extension, and then we're just going to have to let the bond run for a day or two. Okay, now as you can see, it's been around 1 day ago since we created and ran this contract. We started off with $100.18, and we are now at $103.94. This is pretty good considering we only put in $100, which is the minimum for it to be working correctly and guaranteeing a profit. If we have put in more money, $200, $300, or even more, you would expect these kind of results every single day. If you only put in $100, you might only make $1, or you might even make 50 cents on just 1 day. But over time, this bot will guarantee a profit since it uses math and coding to make sure it's only profitable. Now, this is pretty good. Put in at least $100, put in more, get these results. It's a quick, easy way to make some passive income, and it requires almost 0 coding skills. Thank you guys for watching. This is all for this video. I'll go over some different bots, either on Solana or making some more aggressive bots. This is, as I said early on in the video, a pretty safe bot, but I'll go over some of my more aggressive bots that I personally use in some other videos. Like and subscribe to see more type of this content. I hope you enjoyed.